Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the weekly 415 podcast with your host, as always, Reed Indart. Today, we've got a fun one. I've been working on getting this set up for a long time. It's a basketball podcast, and it is with a very special guest. No, it's not Sam, but someone that you all know and love, very well known in the basketball community and just kind of in the sports world in general. One of the most successful executive general managers in the business. Definitely will be a part of the Basketball Hall of Fame, in my opinion. And just all around an amazing person. So get stoked for this one, Weekly 4 and 5, Episode 5, featuring Bob Myers. All righty, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. We have a very special guest today, former general manager, president of basketball operations of the Warriors, Bob Myers. Bob, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for having me on. This is cool.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for taking the time too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just wanted to get like a lot of your takes on stuff, but so how was, I guess, like, you were part of the four championships in the last few years. How was that, just as, because I know you're also a basketball fan, how was that, like, trying to balance your like emotions and stuff with being in the front office and also just excitement?
Yeah, I think what was different about my kind of experience was I was a fan of the team that I ended up working for. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually if you're a GM, you end up being a GM of a different team. It just doesn't line up that way. It's only 30 of them. So you can't really say I'm only going to be the GM of the team I grew up watching. So it kind of fell into place that way. So that's what made my experience probably different. I think if we're looking at the word fun, if it's just about fun, I might have had more fun if I was just a fan.
Sure.
Wouldn't have been more fulfilled or gratified and had a sense of accomplishment as a fan. But in the job, because of all the time that I put into it and sacrifice, you just put a lot on the line. And so you feel the stress of it in a very different way than a fan might. And combined with the fact that it probably meant a little bit more to me growing up there and having family there and friends, and it's like going back home. And like I said, most GMs go into a city and they weren't from there, they don't know a lot of people, they're a little bit anonymous. For me, it was kind of the opposite. So it was I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it was an intense time, and the fact that we got 4 titles is kind of surreal. It's hard to believe. I would have been fine with 1. It would have been good with me. Four is more than enough. But it's really the people I met along the way and still keep in touch with that make it meaningful. I always tell people, you don't pick up the phone and call your championships. You don't have a conversation with your rings.
Yeah.
It's really who you go through it with. And it's a shared experience. It's one of those things where you develop these bonds by going through not just winning, but losing in game 7. That's a painful one. At home, losing another finals. I feel lucky we out of 6 won 4, because that's not guaranteed either. I mean, you go and lose, that's a whole nother form of torture. But I reflect on it a lot. I loved it. And I'm super proud that the fans and the community seem to take so much joy from it, right? Sports is such a communal thing.
Yeah.
And so you hear people, how happy it makes them. Not a lot of jobs can make people really happy. And that's one that, if you do a good job in sports, you can see the results on people's faces, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was able to go to a lot of the games in Oracle and in San Francisco, and just from seeing like everyone, I think every time, no matter like when they lost in 2019, game 6, like I feel like everyone had a smile on their face. Like obviously before the game ended, but like how I guess how like is the community in the Bay Area, both San Francisco and Oakland, like how was that I guess compared to other cities that you're aware of?
I mean, I'm kind of fortunate that I've been to a lot of cities in the U.S. and many in basketball, high level basketball games that basically that a lot was at stake, and so you get a sense of the city. You'd stay in the city for 3, 4 days, 5 days, and that was you get a feel for the people, and the Bay Area is like every other city. It's unique. I do feel that growing up there, watching the Warriors have some success, but also a lot of struggles. I feel like it's a basketball town. I know the 49ers are a big deal, the Giants are a big deal, but basketball matters a lot to the Bay Area, and it kind of always has. It's got a great history, and so um, it was a very deserving fan base. The people that stuck with the Warriors through a lot of difficult times.
Yeah.
I think they appreciated the you're too young. You just got up and saw some championships with the
Sure.
Giants, and I don't know, your generation of you got to see the Giants win 3, the Warriors 4. You haven't seen the 49ers yet, but they've been Super Bowls.
It's been
Um,
close.
yeah, it's been right there. So a ton of winning for a 20 to 30-year-old in the Bay Area
Yeah.
in San Francisco. Very abnormal.
Sure.
Um, but I'm happy to. I always say you want to work in a place where people care, and caring can mean you screw up and you're walking across the street and they say, "Why'd you draft that guy? Why'd you sign that guy?" I'd rather have that than apathy. And in some markets, it's not a big deal. The sports team is not a big deal, and so you look no further. I don't know if I think you got to go in a few of the parades. I mean, that's all you need to see as far as how people went about just experiencing everything. That was the coolest part is
Mhm.
to see the community come out. And Oakland community is different than San Francisco's community. I only got one parade in San Francisco, um, but it was cool that we got one because this is a different
Yeah.
experience. I mean, Oakland's Oakland, and there's nothing like Oakland. There's nothing like San Francisco. I don't ever look at it like one's better than the other. I'm just lucky to have our team, to deliver a championship to each city, but also just the Bay Area as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I think I went to the 2018 and then the 2022 parades, and they were like I was only I think like 16 or 17 for the 2018 one, but it was a completely like and I think weren't they both held in San Francisco or was one in Oakland? I can't remember.
No, Oakland was
Oakland was one.
18.
Oh, that's
18
right.
was
Okay.
Oakland. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like just the kind of everyone like on the light poles and like
Yeah.
on random stuff in the street, trees, like and
Yeah.
they were there from like they didn't go to sleep. They were just
Yeah.
hanging out, partying all night, and then have like
Yeah.
watch the parade. Like
Yeah. Oakland has like this authenticity and it's kind of edgy, but there's a history to Oakland. There's a blue collar,
yeah,
there's a diversity. I mean, those parades, just seeing how diverse the crowds, how cool that was. There was a lot of marijuana read. Not I wasn't partaking, but you could certainly smell that in the air.
yeah,
People having a good time. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, both were fantastic.
yeah.
Both were really cool.
I guess like something I think about a lot, and I'm not sure if anyone else thinks about this, but how was the move from Oracle where those fans grew up with that team and then in what 2020 moving to San Francisco and just kind of having a completely different type of crowd, not just like they were obviously still super energetic, but there was just something to Oakland and Oracle. Like how was that move and difference, I guess?
It's a big difference. You know, well, first of all, just for someone in the organization, we moved our whole practice facility to San
Mhm.
Francisco. We had a separate practice facility above the Marriott in downtown Oakland. Then we would drive over to Oracle, and totally different thing than pulling into work. And then where you go every day is where you play games. So for the people in it, that was different. But for the fans, I imagine, Oakland had this, like the old Boston Garden. It's just these places that have so much history, and then you go to a brand new, pristine place, and you have to find your history there. You have to make it, and that was a big change, and it's being made. And obviously, getting a championship there was really huge, and watching a finals get played in Chase Center was awesome. Um, but yeah, Oakland, it's really too bad that Oakland. I don't say this to blame anybody, but it's too bad that a city like that has now lost the Warriors, the A's, and the Raiders. Because I grew up, I mean, that was it. There's three teams in Oakland,
Yeah.
and now there's none. And I don't know if they'll get any back, but that part makes me have a soft spot for Oakland.
Hmm.
But Chase Center is one of the best run and built buildings in the world, and there's economics at stake. There, you can't. The ownership group, Joe Lacob, they've done an awesome job of building that, sustaining it. From the basketball standpoint, the more you make, the more you can spend. Now the Valkyries are in there. I haven't
Yeah.
been to a Valkyries game, but I heard it's awesome. And so it's just one of those things, like the progression of life. It's kind of like the old shoe. At some point, you need a new pair, but the old one, you're never going to find one that fits the same way.
Hmm.
And that's kind of Oracle. I don't think it was teetering on one of the oldest arenas in the league. And it's the forum is now crypto. I mean, it's the Boston Garden is now TD. I mean, you can't hang on to these things forever,
Yeah.
but you can surely appreciate what happened there.
Hmm. Yeah. And kind of like going back on Oakland, it's not necessarily basketball related, but like when the Niners were in, or no, sorry, the Raiders were in Oakland, and then the A's were in Oakland. How, like, I know you growing up there, what was that? Because I experienced a little bit of these, like the Bay Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge rivalries, but what was that like for the city, like for both cities?
Well, Oakland was, in an interesting way, Oakland represented wealth, a little bit even more than San Francisco. This was kind of before the boom in San Francisco, the technology. Oakland A's represented a one of the haves, and the San Francisco Giants, playing a Candlestick, were like kind of like the have-nots.
Hmm.
They were the gritty team that grinded out and playing in the. I don't know if you ever went to a game at Candlestick, but it was cold, man. It was cold and it was windy, and it was, you better be ready to weather some elements.
Yeah.
And Oakland, very different very different temperature, very different warm nights. The Coliseum, the sunshine, the Bash Brothers, Eckersley, Tony La Russa, Dave Stewart. I mean, they had this juggernaut of a team, and entertaining too. And the Oakland Raiders, now they had a reputation on the other side of things, but they are and were an amazing brand. The
Yeah.
Oakland Raiders is like a world famous brand, and then the Warriors. So you could go to Oakland and catch, nights where the Warriors were playing at the same time as the A's. Both teams were good, and a lot of people chose A's versus Giants. When I was coming up young, I I wasn't I played baseball, but baseball wasn't my favorite sport, so it was easy for me to just grab onto the Warriors.
Yeah.
I probably was more A. I went to many more A's games than Giants games. More because it was closer.
Who's
Just
closer?
getting to Candlestick was a monster. My dad went to all the 49er games, so I would go to Candlestick with him at times. Another space that, you look at Candlestick versus Levi's, it's a completely different
Yeah.
experience. So,
Well, not even the same city.
not even the same city, just a demographic different. I'm glad, Reed, I got to see all of it. I wish somebody your age, I don't know if you ever did, but like going to a 49er game at Candlestick, I'm glad I got
Mhm.
to see that, and Levi's. And I'm glad I got to work in Oracle and now then Chase. And then I'm glad I got to see an Oakland Raiders game in Oakland. I still haven't been to Vegas to see a Raiders game, but I'd like to do that. I've been, obviously the new Giants Park in the city's fantastic. Um, you know, so it's just that's why sports is so great, because it's not just kind of the emotion from it. It's the experience of going to these places and the memories that are created there. And sometimes these places are hard to sit in and
Yeah.
not super comfortable, but that's part of it too. You know, the bathrooms at Candles and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It was not a clean place. So yeah,
Yeah. Let's see. I guess going back to basketball, like I know the front office gets a lot of like, especially during the trade deadline and the off season and free agency like that. The front office always kind of gets a lot of uh,
suggestions.
suggestions and shit thrown at them.
Right.
Like, what was that like? Like when the Warriors signed KD, what was that? I guess like how
Well,
did that
it was
like?
mostly people patting us on the back for that
Yeah,
one. But no, I think that at least I'll tell you the way I did it. I am not on social media. I never have been. I probably never will be. The only way I would do it is if my kids are in college and I had to keep track of them is going to be a decision I got to make. I don't think anybody's strong enough to not be affected by social media. I understand there's some good things about it, but I feel like the negatives are way outweigh the positives. So the reason I say that is I never really followed a ton of the knee jerk reactions from the media. That's the job. I don't blame anyone in the media for doing their job,
yeah,
whether it's talk radio, whether it's talk TV, or people tweeting, or fans doing what they do. I totally get it, but I think the choice I made was that I can't do my job and let that stuff in there, good or bad. And so I always took the approach of you're never as great as they say you are, but you're also never as bad as they say you are, because they're going to do both. If you live in a job long enough, um, you're going to do some things well, you're going to make some mistakes, you're going to get lucky, you're going to get unlucky, and it's all part of it. And if you can just do the best you can, that's you just got to go to bed at night. Sounds simple, but when you get caught up in, I wonder what they're going to say if I do this, it just
yeah,
clouds the decision. And I don't look, going through it, and we had a lot of scrutiny and exposure on those Warrior teams. Around us, I just feel like it doesn't. Nothing really lasts. The fact that we won championships, those things last, but the criticism and the praise, eventually people forget, and you get looked at it over the arc of your career and how did the whole thing go.
mhm,
And you just hope if you get a 10-year shot at something that you do well, and maybe you'll get judged on that, but maybe you won't. Maybe it's not really about what everybody thinks you did. It's about what you thought you did. And
yeah,
so all I did was do the best I could. We got some great results, but I guess if we
mhm,
hadn't, then I still would have done the best I could. It's funny when we won this 73-9, when we won that kind of that accolade of having the best record ever,
yeah,
and then lost in the finals. I was talking to Steve Kerr and I said, that's too bad. I said, everybody's going to call this a failure because we lost in the finals. And a lot of people did and still do.
yeah.
I
Still
said,
do.
but
I was gonna
you still
say.
do. And I said, but, we get to define what it means to us. I mean, you graduate from college, you get to define what does that mean for you. People will define it, but you get to decide what things mean to you. It's really about, and I feel like that was a tremendous accomplishment.
Huge.
If I'm not going to get in an argument with somebody if they go, well, it's a failure, I'd say, well, that's your version of it. Mine is that was something that maybe is harder to win than a championship in some respects. And I
Absolutely.
was there. And so, but you don't get defensive, and people, I guess more people slant a little negative on things, especially in the media. I think it maybe sells more.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the media's part of why you get paid what you get paid, and you get to work in such a cool space, but you got to be careful how much it moves you, and I think that in both directions, because we're all human beings, and when somebody says something about you, you care what, I mean, if you don't, whether you know them or not, somebody looks at this podcast and goes, let's say you have comments, I don't even know if you do, and somebody
Yeah.
goes, that sucked, and you don't know who this person is, you have no idea, that you're going to feel that in some way, or if somebody says that was fantastic, you're going to feel that too. So you got to decide if you want to read the comments or not.
Mhm.
Or you can finish the podcast and say to yourself, or a friend can say to you, or a coworker, I thought that one was really good. And you might say, I didn't think it was that good. That is probably more important than the comments, in my opinion. But it's hard to ignore the comments. So everybody
Yeah.
deals with it in some way. If you're working in a public space, you're going to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have enough followers or people who watch this yet for
Sure.
people to comment, but
Hopefully one day.
hopefully one day.
That's the goal. You'll experience it.
That is the plan. Yeah, I mean, because I think when was Katie? Was it like
16 summer.
2016 and
Yeah.
the summer of that? I think we
Yeah.
were around the same area, and I remember
Mhm.
it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then like once he left, everyone was saying, "Oh well, he just wanted to go there for a ring," which I think is not right. But yeah, I guess like what was the coolest part about being able to sign a Kevin Durant or sign
Well,
a
yeah. I think what people forget is that when he made that decision, he knew that a lot of people wouldn't like it.
Mhm.
He's not an idiot. Like, he knew that whether it was half the people or 60 or 40 or 30 that had a comment would say he was taking the easy way out, right? That's what some people are going to say. But he still did what he wanted to do. And I think if you look at it in a different way, it's really a testament to his courage. Somebody would say, some people said weakness. I'd say courage, because how many athletes make a decision that they can make however they want, knowing it's going to be immediately met with a lot of disdain, and they still do it because they want to be happy, because that's what they want to do. So Kevin moved in the direction he wanted to move, and he's the only one that faced criticism. Nobody else. We didn't get any credit. Obviously, we got praise. Oh, you signed
Yeah.
Durant. He got the brunt of it. But I think for him, and maybe one day you can have him on, you can ask him. He just wanted to come play for the Warriors and play with the players, and so what? Why can't somebody? He didn't demand a trade. He waited till he was a free agent, and he chose the team he wanted to play for. And a lot of people got really pissed. And in my opinion, I look at it like, would I have the strength to do something where I know people are going to really be upset with me and say I shouldn't have done it? I don't know. And I don't think he regrets it. I think he got to play with some of the best players and be a huge part of some of the best teams in the history of the NBA. You could argue
Yeah.
that those teams were right up there. I mean, you can certainly in the conversation of
Mhm.
one of the best teams ever to play. That's pretty amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and he got to be part of that, and 2 Finals MVPs, 2 championships, that too. But yeah, my job was to build the best team we could build, and that's pretty simple. That if Kevin Durant's an option, you
You go
go
get
try
him.
to get that guy. I mean, that's easy. The challenge, I mean, if there was a challenge, it was more about when the only acceptable outcome is a championship. People would say there's no pressure to that. There's pressure when you have to win. Um, it's rare in sports where we were a heavy favorite. So my stress came from the fact that if we don't win, this is a total catastrophe. We have to win with these guys. And we won two and lost one, which I guess you can take. But yeah, that was the pressure of being favored almost every night, every game.
Mhm.
I was sitting at a game, I don't know, 2018 or something, and it was probably one of our last regular season games that year before the playoffs. And I was sitting with a GM of another team who had been let go, who was at the game, and I offered to let him sit with me. And it was about a minute to go in the game. We were up 9 or 10, and he's like, "Congratulations!" And I was like, "What for?" He's like, "You guys are gonna win the game." And I was like, "Oh yeah, 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 thanks." Like, you get
Yeah.
so numb to it that you, for me at least, I was kind of like, golly, you gotta appreciate the wins too, because it can't just be ho hum. Because when you lose, it can't just be awful, and then when you win, it's who cares? That doesn't line up.
No,
So that's kind of how I tried to go about the whole thing.
fair enough. I guess staying on topic of really, really good players, what was it like just being around Steph and KD and Draymond and all those guys for like pretty much your whole career there?
Yeah. Um, it's great. It's everybody wants to be around greatness. Why wouldn't you? These
Yeah.
guys are some of the best artists in the world at what they do, and I mean, even watching practice, and even watching LeBron in all the finals, just watching the highest level of competition. You're talking about in that game, those finals, you had three of the best, in my opinion, 10 players ever to play basketball playing against each other in those series with LeBron and Kevin and Steph. Um, that's something I'd pay to watch. I'd pay to watch that stuff. I got paid to go to those games. I would have paid full freight to go watch those guys go at it. So I got to see that stuff. I don't take that for granted. I just loving basketball. Sometimes I remind myself like I'm at these games. I'm at the finals. I got for 5 years in a row. I went to every finals game because we were in it.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Nobody really does that unless you're in media, which is different than being engaged in the fight. And so, yeah, I mean, just to learn from these guys. Obviously, talent matters in life. You got to have talent. But what makes Steph and Kevin unique is the work ethic around the talent and the competitive desire to, after the money, after the fame, after the individual accolades, to keep pushing.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable. And it starts with just loving what you do. Those guys just love playing basketball. Sounds simple, but if they didn't love playing basketball, they wouldn't. It'd be hard to do all the work they do, all of them, if you don't have that genuine joy for your job, for your craft, and they all have it. And yeah, I mean, see two, Kevin and Steph come together, uh, support each other, play with each other, play alongside each other was it's cool. I mean, that's what you dream of being part of something like that. We remember dynasties, we remember greatness. Um, Mediocrity just comes and goes. So to be part of a time where it just doesn't happen that much was having a front row seat to that was pretty great.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that's still like the loving to play basketball thing. It's obviously still a thing because they're what
Still going.
they're pushing close to 40, like both
Yeah,
16 or 17 years in the league, and they're still
yeah,
the fact that they're still as like top 5 players in the league to this day is
yeah. It's
mind
great.
blowing.
No,
Like,
they it's great. I mean, and that's what makes them. It's the longevity too. I
yeah,
mean, people probably thought Steph and Kevin would be done, even LeBron,
yeah,
years ago. But it's kind of like every time you watch them play and now play against each other, all those guys being in the West, um, you just want to watch those games because they're not going to happen forever, and it's
mm-mm,
coming near the end. For you don't know which one's going to retire first, but we don't have a ton more of watching those guys go at it.
no. Well, I thought LeBron was retiring like last
I
week
know.
when he did that stupid
I know.
second stint.
People. I didn't think that, but I know it's coming. I mean, I don't know anything more than you know, but I didn't think that
It
was a
has to.
retirement announcement. But I'm sure it's got to be coming at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't. That's not a hot take. Like LeBron, at
No.
some point in the next couple of years, will probably wrap it up.
Yeah. And I remember
So
seeing a tweet like years ago. It was like LeBron's 30. This won't go on for much longer, and he's now
I
what
know, proved
41,
everybody wrong.
42?
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. That
Yeah.
doesn't
Great
just
for him.
happen either. That's a lot of hard work, and it's impressive, real
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah. Well, I guess like what was like the first big signing before Kevin Durant, or like the first big draft pick that you were involved in that kind of really helped shape up towards that 2015 win?
As an assistant GM, we drafted Clay, which was turned out to be a pretty big deal. Sometimes you do
Yeah.
these things you don't know at the time the uh, the gravity of them, or the weight of drafting Clay at 11 and going, well, we like him, but you don't know he's going to be what he was.
Mm.
Drafting Draymond the following year, when my first draft as a GM, Harrison Barnes was part of that 15 championship, making the trade. When I was an assistant GM, the Monte for Bogut trade, Iguodala as a free agent, Livingston as a free. I mean, all these things have to happen to get that championship, and they all have different reasons and stories, and they all have to come together. Maybe with that, if we miss on one of those, I don't think we win in 15. I mean, if you just don't draft Draymond, you probably don't win. If you don't do the Bogut trade, you don't win. If you don't get Iguodala, you don't win. And Livingston was huge too. Like, I mean, it's all connected. And so obviously Curry's the engine,
Sure.
but all the rest of it had to kind of come into alignment for 15 to happen. And for those guys to be so young when it happened is such a that one was so unexpected.
Yeah.
That's what made it so awesome. And it was, again, I mean, 40 years since the last one, and beating LeBron, I mean, made it, it's a big deal. He was at the peak of his powers. Even though they were a little banged up, they got banged up in the finals.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever, however you can get it,
However you can take it, you can take
however
it.
you can get it. But I think Andre was him agreeing he had options to come to the Warriors was a big move. It really made us. It kind of was transformative in the fact that it put the Warriors on the map as far as a
Mhm.
destination, and that was big because we'd never been that kind of place.
Yeah. Yeah, it was always kind of
Yeah,
like the,
to
oh, let's go
overpay,
to
or yeah, nowhere else
Detroit
to
or
go.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like kind of more modern. Like you worked with Dunleavy and that whole group.
mhm.
How do you think they're doing right now? Because
Great.
I've seen a lot of, oh, they're doing great. And then I've also seen a lot of, oh, they're not doing so great.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm kind of like, I loved the Jimmy trade.
Hmm.
I think that really helped. I mean, they didn't really lose many games after that deadline, up until last year, and then Steph got hurt in game one of the semis. But I think he's done a decent job so far. I think there's some decisions that I wasn't a huge fan of, but seeing how everything is panned out, like the Al Horford just a few days ago, after a offseason of not really a thing, was kind of a breath of fresh air.
Sure. Yeah, I think it. I mean, the Jimmy thing looks like a real smart move.
Hmm.
Bajemski seems like a good pick. Um, Kuminga and Moody showed a lot of flashes last year. Draymond seems to still be doing great. Steph. I think they made some tough decisions. Poole, moving off of Poole, Clay, those were hard
Yeah,
things
that
to
was
do.
tough.
But sometimes you got to make hard decisions. I think overall, really, they haven't made a lot of mistakes. I don't think it's hard because there's such high expectations coming off the championships.
Yeah.
But it's still a team that can certainly compete any night. Maybe if Steph doesn't get hurt, you can get by Minnesota last year. Injuries are part of it, but I actually think Steve's still done a great job. Mike got all the draft picks. I think he's as good as you could hope for there. And then you go into this season thinking, in any series, I mean, Oklahoma City's maybe a step above everybody else, but the West is pretty jammed up from
Yeah.
2 to 8 or 9. So if you give yourself a shot in all that and try to stay as healthy as you can, that'd be a great season. It's still a compelling brand of basketball. Steph's still hugely box office. I mean, he's going to remain that way. Jimmy seems to be seamlessly fitting in. It's a fun team to watch. I root for those guys because, well, one, Mike's my friend, and two, I still know a lot of those guys over there, and I like seeing these guys near the back half of their career or back quarter, still competing, still trying, still getting after it. It's fun for me. I think I like watching the Warriors play. I like the style of it. Um, and again, I'm probably have bias towards rooting for those guys because I
Yeah.
know a lot of them and I want them to do well. But I think the West is going to be really it's going to be fun to see how it all shakes out. I just hope everybody stays as healthy as they can because I just hate when people get hurt, and that goes
Mhm.
for any team. I just, you see LeBron's going to miss the start of the season. What happened with Van Vliet sucks. I just hope all the teams can stay as healthy as they can, and then just see where the chips fall.
Yeah. All right. In your insider opinion, what's the finals matchup and who wins it?
Well, I'm not any more of an insider than you. People that say they're insider, I don't even know what that means. You can be an insider if you want.
Or
Yeah.
analyst, I
Who?
guess.
Okay, sure. Well, everybody's gonna pick the team. Everybody always picks the team that just won.
Yeah.
Because it's easy. I thought the Celtics were gonna win last year. So let's get off that train. And the easy picks Oklahoma City. So
Okay.
I'm gonna say in the finals, I'd like to say Cleveland. I don't think I can do it. Let's go with the Knicks just because they haven't been there in forever.
Okay.
And they got a good team. And I like Mike Brown.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go with Denver. I think they got better in the offseason. And Jokic is fantastic. Cam Johnson will be a good fit. They got a little deeper. Bruce Brown coming back. Valanciunas is a good backup five. Um, Christian Brown seems to be getting better, and Jamal Murray's just got to stay healthy. We know what he can do. I think Denver is with Jokic is a very, not that Shea's not. Shea's fantastic, but Jokic can dictate a series as well as anybody in the league. The closest I've ever seen is LeBron, just kind of dominate the action.
Mhm.
And just facilitate, and these gaudy numbers, 28, 15, and 14, just craziness. So yeah, I think Denver. I think Denver and maybe the Knicks. I think that'd be a cool thing to watch.
I love it.
Oh, but anyways, that's just my. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
82 games
So,
for a reason.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
All righty.
So yeah, man, good.
Yeah. That's all I've got. You got anything
That's
else?
great. No, I'll go pick up my daughter, and this is cool. Good luck with all the next ones, and hope it works out however you want.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I love it. It's been fun. So
Good.
just to kind of
Good.
learn it all and
Good.
talk about cool stuff, talk to cool people. So
Yeah, keep at it.
yeah,
Let me know
man.
if you're down in LA. You can come by and see what's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All
Will
right.
do. But
Thanks for having me
Bob.
on, man. Appreciate
Yeah,
it. Take care, dude. Okay.
you too.
All right. See ya.
All right, y'all. Thank you for all right, y'all. Thank you for watching this episode of the Weekly 415 podcast. Really hope you enjoyed it. It was awesome to talk to Bob. He is just an amazing, amazing person. Did so much for the Bay Area, both Oakland and San Francisco. And just a pleasure to talk to about basketball, about anything. So I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed filming it. And yeah, I'll probably throw out a YouTube video of the kind of the Warriors season, I guess like season expectations and all that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I know this wasn't like there's no music to this one, but it is what it is. I kind of really wanted to make this one really, really good. So again, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.